Hey there, friends. It is time for our deep dive, pardon the pun, into Jacob's Well. And so I'm going to start screen sharing right off the bat. We got lots of pictures to look at because I want to kind of like zoom out and zoom in so that you have a sense, if you haven't been to Israel or to that place, which I haven't, but I have studied it more than once because who doesn't want to see pictures of this place? Like, I kind of obsessed over it a while back and learned a whole bunch, and now I've like relearned that stuff and I'm ready to share it. So let's share the screen. We are going to go to some images. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this map. So just so it kind of pointed out, here is Jerusalem. And it is right on the edge. And so we're kind of looking here. We're within the West Bank, which is ancient Samaria right now, like considered part of Palestine, but also not. It's a confusing thing. It is hard to like really wrap my mind around all of that conflict over the land. This area over here, Gaza, this is the area of Palestine we hear about a lot. This is where a lot of those air balloon bombs get sent from and rockets and all that kind of stuff. That's down here near the edge of border of Egypt. But up here, you'll see it's even called today, check this out, Nablus. We know exactly where that is, right? That is Shechem. So I'm going to stop sharing that. That gives you an idea. And I'm going to share again, but this time we're going to go to a little bit more of an ancient map. And so here we are. We've got Jerusalem down here again. This is more of a, you can see the mountains. Yeah, right. So it is about, what is it, 30 miles, I think I read earlier today, to get up here to Jacob's Well. And we have Mount Ebal in the north and Mount Gerizim in the south. So then that gives you another little kind of picture of what this area looked like. And Jacob Well right in the middle of those two things. So I'm going to stop that and I'm going to share again. And this time we're going to kind of pan out a little bit more. So now we've got, not that. All right, here we go. So here, so we know this is in the north, right? I mean, it looks, east, but it's not, it's north. And we have Mount Ebal, and this is where the curses were pronounced. And we have Mount Gerizim over here in the south where the blessings were pronounced. And right here in the middle is Shechem. So I wanted to review really quick. I looked up at, and there's this great website called gotquestions.org, which is actually answering biblical related questions. To just kind of review like what exactly happened here biblically kind of over time. So we see it first in Genesis 12, 6-7. This is the location where Abraham received God's promise for the land, and he built an altar there. And Jacob followed suit later in Genesis 33 and included digging a well also. And all the men of Shechem were killed by Dinah's two brothers after she was violently violated, and they decided to take revenge. They killed all the men in that town. And in Deuteronomy 11, 26-30, so this is later when the Israelites are back, this is Joshua, after the Battle of Ai, tribes pronounced blessings on one side and cursings on the other. The Ark of the Covenant rested right here in Shechem. And later on in Joshua 21, 20-21, it was listed as a Levitical city of refuge. And Joshua 24:32 states that Joseph's remains were buried around here somewhere. So Mount Gerizim, even still to this day, is considered revered by the Samaritans, who are still living in the land of Israel even today. There are two communities. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm going to go to the website. And oh gosh, where did you go? Oh, there you are. Okay. So this is a picture of the Samaritans, like I think in 2014, worshiping on the top of Mount Gerizim. They are still to this day. There's a website you might want to check out. It's called Israelite-Samaritans.com. It is the website for both Samaritan communities. They number less than 1,000. There are some that live right on Mount Gerizim. There is another community that is in Holon, which is near Tel Aviv, so a ways away. And this community is continuing on in their traditions. And I just like, look at these people, like these are the descendants of the woman at the well, you guys. Here they are, and they are still revering these traditions that they have had. So here's the thing about Samaritans that I have learned. It may not be exactly correct, but this is kind of the gist of what I understand. So they were living in Samaria at the time. They were part of the northern tribes. And when Assyria came in, let me double check my date, 722 BC, that's when a whole bunch of people were taken into exile, right? But this was the remnant that remained. Then later on in Babylonia, the Babylonian invasion happened in 586 BC, and that further decimated the Israelite population of the tribe of Judah, and they were taken away. But as we know, 7 years later, they started coming back. And that is where the crunchiness began and has continued from, because the Samaritans have their version of the Pentateuch. The version that went with the Israelites to Babylon and came back was a little bit different, and their cultures clashed. You know, Christy talks about cultures clashing, and I feel like this was like another one of those things that happened. The Samaritans believe that their Pentateuch is the true Pentateuch. Of course, the Israelites, the version that came back from Babylon, they believe is the same. I'm just reporting what I've heard. That's all I have to say. God's word is inerrant. That's all I have to say. Really interesting. And I'm going to show you a few more pictures. So this is the site on top of Mount Gerizim. There are ruins extending back a long, long, long period of time up there still. This is so cool. You can contact the Samaritan people in Mount Gerizim and you can have a tour taken up there. Benjamin Cicada and other Israelite Samaritan leaders will happily guide you personally on a tour. And I just want to say, yes, please. I want to do that. So someday when I plan something, this is going to be part of it. And let's see, got one more picture here. So, okay, I love historical pictures. Here's a woman at the well. This is before the church was all, you know, pristinely built over top of it, and a beautiful bowl was put around the entry into the well. I didn't find a date for this picture, but it's obviously pre-20th century, and I just think this is absolutely beautiful. And the last one is what it looks like today, which is really funny. I was like, oh, when you pan out, you see like all the fun stuff you can buy there too on the right-hand side. A priest will sell you some cool stuff as you know, drink from the well. And I want to do that someday. Let me tell you, except that I'm probably not going to be that brave. I probably will bring my husband's, he has this backpack that will filter water and I'll probably put it through the filter, but I want to drink. Like, this is like tip top on my list, what I want to do in Israel someday. And I hope it is for you too. So at any rate, that's my deep dive this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all next time.